So the Championship managerial merry-go-round is well and truly underway now, as the second manager has gone in the Championship this season. Steven Schumacher has left Stoke as the Stoke City circus of mediocrity continues. So, Steven Schumacher has left Stoke, and this is what has been said on Stoke's website. John Walters, the sporting director, says as his role it is to make tough decisions that serve long-term interests of Stoke, and after ongoing discussions with the owner, we feel like the time is right for a change in direction to bring success to the club. We have a young and dynamic squad that is eager to develop and a clear vision of how to achieve success, and we hope to announce a new appointment shortly. We will need the fans, staff and players united in support to achieve our goals. As always in football, these decisions are difficult, and we wish Steven and his staff all the best for the future. It then does list the staff members who are leaving alongside Steven Schumacher, and that Alex Morris and Ryan Shawcross will take caretaker charge. The chairman has said that Steven, Mark, Chris, Peter and Elliot depart with our thanks for their efforts, with our best wishes for their future careers, and that we have faith in the squad of players that we've assembled and firmly believe that they can bring success to Stoke City. I continue to be hugely thankful to the club's fans for their loyal and passionate support. A few numbers. Obviously, Steven Schumacher joined in December of 2023, so not quite a year ago, on what was a 3-year deal at the time. He took charge when they were 19th in the Championship, and last season he took them from 19th to 17th. They had 24 games under him last season, 9 wins, 6 draws, 9 defeats, scoring 28 goals and conceding 30. However, so far this season, he has them 13th after 5 games, winning 2, losing 3. Of course, their most recent was the 1-0 defeat at Oxford at the weekend. His total time in charge of Stoke totals 32 games, 13 wins, 6 draws and 13 defeats with 40% win record. So very sort of in the middle with that. An interesting fact that I found when looking up Stoke City managers was, barring Michael O'Neill, each of Stoke's last 5 full-time managers who weren't caretakers have failed to last a year in the job, which is absolutely bonkers. Now, this sort of sums up Stoke City for me, and we go around the same cycle every single season, and I feel so sorry for Stoke fans. I'm going to be brutally honest. I really do have so much sympathy for them, because they have gone round in this never-ending cycle of mediocrity, and when things don't seem to be going well, within a year, if not less, they'll sack the manager, they'll try something different. And you look at the number of managers they've had at this point, all have been immensely successful in previous jobs elsewhere, but have just not been at Stoke. You know, Gary Rowett come in, barely lasted a year. He was a success at Birmingham. Prior to that, come to Stoke, just didn't work for him. He also did a relatively good job and a better job at Millwall, I would say, when you look at the 2 clubs and the players they had. And Jones, of course, well known for being very successful at Luton Town. He went to Stoke. That was a disaster, really. Michael O'Neill was the only one who sort of had them consistently doing okay, but of course they wanted to take a step forward. They brought in Alex Neil, who you think would guarantee them success, having had Norwich promoted in the Championship previously. That didn't work. And then Steven Schumacher, you think finally they're going for a very young, upcoming manager, lots of pedigree. Maybe Stoke are finally starting to look more long-term, and they're going to give him time. And here we are, 9 months in, he's sacked. So I don't know what they expect at Stoke, to be honest with you. You know, every single season, they seem so reactive, trigger-happy, and short-term thinking. You know, their recruitment has always screamed to me that they're buying what they think are ready-made players who are just going to hit the ground running. They're already top dollar. They're already, you know, premium players. They've not got much room to grow. They're not looking at players like Borough do, for example, with a model of bringing in young players with lots of potential who, you know, might work, might not, but there's sell-on value there. It's sustainable. It's long-term thinking. So with the players they bring in, and with the managers and how long the managers last, it all just feels so short-term and so reactive. And I just don't quite know what the Stoke hierarchy are expecting if they continually sack managers after less than a year, they keep bringing in players, and their recruitment's always felt really sort of scattergun. There's not really a strategy there. There's not really a direction there. They're just picking out players that look good. They're sort of hopeful that they'll come together and form a good team, when essentially, you look at Stoke's squad over the last few seasons, it has been way better than what the performances have showed. The squad and the individuals that Stoke have had, their team, pretty much since relegation, has been a top half playoff team, maybe at least, most of the time. But it's never quite worked as a cohesive unit, and that's because I don't think they're buying players for a certain style. I don't think they're buying players for a specific way of playing. They seem to just think, oh, he's a good player, bring him in. He's a good individual, bring him in, and we'll group all of these individuals together, and they will just work together. And I think it's a prime example that great individuals don't make a great team. You need players that are fit specifically, whether it's their age, their potential, their style, their mentality, their attitude, whatever it is, they need to fit the club and the style of play to the manager exactly. And I think that's when you start seeing, success. But even then, when you bring players in like that, you need to give it time. You need to give it a good year or 2 or 3 to really build. And it's almost like at the first sign of things not working, Stoke pull the rug from underneath the manager and they start all over again. And this is why every single start to every single season, I put Stoke 16th, 17th, 14th, 15th in my league table predictions, because I have absolutely no faith that they can just have a steady season of growth. It always seems to sort of get to a point where they'll stutter and stumble along, and then suddenly, bang, the reset button's pressed, and they'll start again with a new manager, and all the players that the old managers brought in are now, surplus to requirements because the new manager will want something different. And it's the same here. We're not far off. We're, just over 2 weeks post deadline day, and a new manager's now going to have to come in essentially with a squad that Steven Schumacher has assembled. Is it a squad for Steven Schumacher's style of play? I don't know with Stoke. I genuinely don't. Maybe they've just bought a load of players that they think are good, and they're just hoping that somehow they can piece all these pieces of the jigsaw together and it'll make a very nice puzzle, when in fact the pattern at Stoke over the years is that the pieces never fit the puzzle. They just don't fit. So, they've tried everything. Gary Rowett, experienced, solid head. Nathan Jones, an upcoming manager with success at Luton. They've tried Alex Neil, who I think is a good mix of both experience and a sort of, exciting modern way of playing. A young manager who's got a good CV behind him. That didn't work. And Steven Schumacher was the one where I thought, taking him from Plymouth where he did exceptionally well, maybe there's a chance if they gave him time, this would work. But it hasn't, and I don't think his record was all that bad. 40% win percentage, I don't think's bad. They've lost as many games as they've won, but there's nothing to suggest that with time he wasn't going to get better if he kept bringing players in that he felt suited his way of playing. Stoke would have probably improved, and they're 13th in the league. It's probably not where they want to be, and yet they've just come off the back of a bad defeat to Oxford, and typical of Stoke, this season's been very Stoke City. They've, pulled out some good results, but they've had some shockers too. But they are not in the worst position in the world. So I don't know if they've panicked. I don't know if there's more to this. I mean, John Walters did mention that they're going to announce a new appointment shortly, so I don't know if they've got someone ready, or they have done for a while, and maybe that was what they were doing over the international break, and they're just not ready to come in yet, hence why Schumacher's had one game post-international break. Maybe the plan's always been to change manager, but again, I said the same with Preston. Why give him 5 games and then change? Why get rid of him at all? I can sort of understand it with Preston, but Steven Schumacher's a great new manager, and I feel like he would have been a success at Stoke given time, but as always, Stoke have been impatient and pulled the trigger, and it doesn't matter who they bring in for me. I just see this endless cycle of mediocrity continuing at Stoke. It's been the same since they come down. Scattergun recruitment, managers that just don't work no matter what age, mould, style of play they are. What Stoke need to do is just reset. They just need to take stock, need to decide what direction they want to go in. They need to decide the exact type of players that will fit that direction, the exact type of player they want to bring in, the age, profile. Are they wanting to bring in players that are ready-made? Are they wanting to bring in more, low-risk players with high potential who they can make money off in the future? Because for me, Stoke just spend a ton of money every summer on players that don't work. They need to decide where they want to go. They need to pick a manager, and they need to bloody stick with him, because Steven Schumacher had a 3-year deal and he's not even lasted one of them 3 years. So I'm not surprised by this, really. It's just Stoke City being Stoke City, and I don't know how the fans haven't just tore their hair out at this point, because they're just going round and round and round and round. And what is there to suggest that that's going to change? And we're going to be here again in 12 months' time, when whoever the new manager is, no matter how good he is, no matter how much of a young good manager he looks potential-wise, who's to say we're not going to be in this exact position in 12 months' time? And Stoke will probably finish 16th again this season. It's frustrating. It's frustrating as a neutral, never mind a Stoke City fan. So if you're a Stoke City fan, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's just typical, isn't it, of Stoke that this has happened already. But if you're a Stoke fan or a neutral, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Always do like and follow and subscribe to the channel for much more Championship and football related content to come. I'd be very eager to hear what Stoke fans think, because I'm sure they'll be frustrated that maybe Steven Schumacher wasn't delivering the results that they were hoping for. But let's be honest, he's not the first, he's not the last. Can you blame him? Does questions have to start being asked of the people above him and the decision makers at the football club and the recruitment at the football club? Because for me, it's more than just a problem with the manager at this point for me. And it has been for a long time. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, Stoke fans. And I'll be eager to see who they get in. And if ever does click at Stoke and they finally start making inroads and progress, and they actually give project time and stop ripping it up and starting again every single year. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Do take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.